Okay, so check it. If you've ever said, I'm not a business person, or I'm not really cut out for this, or heck, I'm an artist, I don't know all this businessy term bull crud or anything like that, then this video is for you, so you gotta keep on watching. You know, the spreadsheets, the LLC, the corporate jargon, you know, I didn't grow up learning business that way, and I don't really think you need to as well. Remember, you're creative, you're an artist, you're someone who loves creating things, you think a little bit differently, and that doesn't mean that business isn't for you. I used to actually think that as well, because I am an artist, I'm a creative through and through, either if it's physical art or if it's music, stuff like that, recording, mixing and mastering, all those things. I love art. Again, physical, musical, all the things. And actually, I was not really a good student at all. And I really just didn't think that like this whole world, this whole business world was not suited for me. But what happened when I first started my first business, and it actually was a recording studio, I realized that I liked the businessy side of things more than I liked the recording side of things. Hence why now we actually teach all the business stuff to creatives and all that stuff and blah, blah, blah. But it was a crazy realization to me that you don't have to know all the corporate jargon, the suit and tie BS to run a profitable business. As a creative, as someone who sells their art, or as someone who makes music or videography stuff or photography stuff, or I just want to open up a skate shop, anything creative, you don't really need to have that businessy mind to be a successful business person or a successful entrepreneur. And honestly, once I figured out that hack, once I figured out that, man, I don't really need all this junk, I just need to focus on this stuff over here, it was like eyes wide open, and I just love telling everyone about this essentially. And the main thing that I realized is that business is actually very, very simple. And the people, in my opinion, that make it complicated are the people that like to throw around the big terms and stuff like that to make themselves feel smarter. And also a reminder, you're not an accountant, okay? So you don't need to learn accountant things. You're a creative who sells this thing over here that brings value to people over here. You are not an accountant. And actually, if you are an accountant, cool, then you can be a cool accountant or whatever the case is. But if you're not an accountant, okay, you didn't go to school for it, you're not doing this as a business, you don't need to worry about things like that. And I'll have to say that with pretty much anything, right? If you don't know how to open up an LLC, you can find help with that online, okay? You need to focus on what you're good at, not what other people are good at, because you're now a business owner and now you need to think that way because you should be an accountant because you're a business owner and all those things, right? So that was a huge realization for me, a little side tangent right there, sorry about that. But like that was a huge realization to myself and my wife, Brianna, is that we don't need to be a freaking accountant because our brains don't think like that. But there are people that are really good at their job that you can hire and delegate that to. So here are 4 steps that have changed everything for me. So the very first point is what a business person actually looks like, okay? So it's not an MBA, it's not even a freaking stacked LinkedIn account. And actually, I need to get rid of my LinkedIn. You don't even need a LinkedIn account. I made one like years ago because everyone's like, you gotta get a LinkedIn account. Now I just get a bunch of people being like, hey, we wanna hire you, come work for our company and, you know, come be an employee. And I'm just like, look, I'm not trying to do that. And I'm just tired of getting spammed. So anyways, you don't need a LinkedIn account. You don't need an MBA. That is not what a business person is. What a business person is actually solving a very specific problem for a very specific type of person and then never stop learning. That's to a T what business is. I mean, think about it, right? So I'm thirsty. I want a coffee. I don't want to make a coffee. So I'm going to go down to my favorite coffee shop and they're going to make a coffee for me. They're fulfilling a problem. They're solving a problem. I need to make a phone call. I don't have a phone. I need to go buy a phone so I can make a phone call, right? They are solving a problem. You know, water bottle. I need something to hold my water and, you know, on the go, right? Pen, same thing. So I think you get the point, right? You need to solve an issue, solve a problem, and then just do it over and over and over again. And then the never stop learning thing is very important because as a business owner, as actually just a human being, you should always be pushing yourself to the next level. Okay, so never stop learning and always solve a problem. That is actually what a business person is. And actually the honest truth, business people are the people that just decide to go for it and to figure it out along the way. Now, there are pros and cons to that. That's what I did. I highly recommend that you do stuff a little bit differently. That's why we sell courses and why we sell, you know, different guides and things like that. And why we also have free guides as well. So check out all those, you know, link in the description and whatnot. But learning as you go isn't a big issue at all. It just takes time, right? So yes, most people, like very high percentage of people quit their jobs and just say, you know what, I'm gonna go for it. And again, nothing wrong with that. That's what I did. But if you can have a plan, if you can have a plan of attack, then that's just going to shave off so many years of your life. Again, why we sell courses and things like that. So step number 2 is you're already probably doing businessy things without even realizing it, which is the crazy part. So if you ever talk about the problem that you solve or the things that you're working on or new products or whatever the case is, or just what you love, you're actually doing this in real time. So essentially you're actually networking and then you're doing R&D. Research and development is insanely important because you're going, hey, this is what I'm working on. What do you think? And you can hear real-time feedback instantly of people going, oh man, I'm really interested in that. So no joke, I'm actually working on a posting template for Notion. If you don't know anything about Notion, it's a businessy person to-do list. It's an overcomplicated to-do list essentially. And you can go in there, you can customize it and make all these things. Well, I've been working on one for a long time and for myself and refining it and all these things. And it's been really helping me out stay consistent and up to date with posting. So I've been kind of talking about that with just random people that show interest that I run into, things like that. And for the most part, I'm getting a lot of awesome feedback. But again, if you can get feedback, that's research and development. If you are telling people about your business, you are just networking, okay? So you're out and about just killing it, having a good time, already doing businessy things without even realizing it. And again, you don't have to do things like I'm doing. You could be talking about the art piece or the new sticker design or the new, music that you're working on or this dope freaking art collab skateboard thing that you've got going on. It can be all different types of things, but the most important part is if you're talking about it with someone, then you're already doing businessy things. And also, if you're selling art, if you're selling your product, right? If you're solving a problem in real life, and then, even if you're doing things like a garage sale, like you're hosting a garage sale, you're already doing businessy things without even realizing it. And honestly, it might not even cross your mind because, I just sold this art piece. It's not that big of a deal. It's actually a huge deal. And you're doing businessy things. And it's as simple as that. Again, business is simple. And honestly, you might be like racking your brain about this when I keep on saying business is simple, right? But again, you're already doing businessy things, so you could already run your own business, but you probably just need some type of guide, essentially, right? So this might be a good place to talk about our free guide. It's called From Daydream to Doing Checklist, and essentially it does just that. It goes, hey, here's all of these things that you need to run a business, okay? It's just I think it's an 11 thing checklist. So you go down and you go, okay, I have this, I don't have this, I need to work on this, I have this, and whatever, and blah, 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 blah. Well, the coolest part is at the very end, it actually gives you like a score sheet. If you've marked off this many, you need to still work on your business. You probably shouldn't leave your job. If you marked off this many though, man, you're way closer than you think. And maybe you should start thinking about putting your 2 weeks or doing these final little things that you missed on the checklist. And actually, you're a lot closer than you think to leaving your job. So From Daydream to Doing Checklist, it's free. Everything's linked down below in the description. And again, it gives you a list of things that you can now take and go, maybe I do need to work on this, or I didn't even think about this, or I have this done, sick. Let's freaking leave this job. So definitely go download that, and it's free. And then one more thing I have in my notes right here for step number 2 is that the real thing is figuring out how to be consistent. That is the real skill. Again, business is simple. It's very simple tactics. Okay, so step number 3. So start with what you're already good at. Okay, so lean into what you already know. Are you a creator? Are you a connector? Are you a good teacher? Or do you just love helping people? So that's us right there. We love helping people with business. We love helping creative people with business. So start with that thing though. Start with what makes you tick. So it's funny, I was actually just talking to a good friend about this, right? And when I was going, hey, what are you good at? What do you already know? What equipment do you already have, right? All these different things. And oddly enough, he already runs a sticker shop locally. And that's what he knows, that's what he loves. He's been a graphic designer for a long, long time, and he's really good at making these stickers. I mean, some of the best quality stickers I've ever had, and I've ordered a lot of different stickers, and I have a lot of stickers from other people around the world. So he already has the know-how. He already knows how to do all this. He already knows, the ins and outs of the machinery. He already has the machinery. He's already invested all this stuff, right? And honestly, it just makes sense for him to niche down to a very specific type of genre or style or person of the sticker world, and just really talk to that person over and over again, maybe even rebrand his sticker company. So we're talking about all different types of things with that right now, but the whole point is that he's good at making stickers. He's good at graphic design. He is an artist, right? He's been a band guy forever. We're talking about possibly, doing like brand stuff or, essentially making the sticker company around bands, right? Really freaking cool. But he knows the lingo. He knows how to talk to all of these people. It's very easy for him. It comes natural to him, right? Because he's been doing this said thing forever. So what are you good at? What type of people do you talk to? Who do you connect with? What makes this thing so simple that you can just go like, this is what I do and people pay me and it's really cool. Like, again, what do you do and how do you make it just very, very simple? Again, you're going to be annoyed with me, but business is simple. If you can take everything and just go simplicity, 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 you will win, and then you will stop overthinking. And when you start overthinking, just remember, hey, let me just take a couple steps back and just go simple. Again, the people that make business just really not simple and really hard to just whatever are the people that like to use the big words and just like to make things freaking complicated, and it freaking kills me. And also, if you're really interested in the businessy terminology and all that crap and whatnot, that's where YouTube comes in, that's where Google comes in, that's where coaching comes in, okay? If you do want to learn that, if you do want to go that way, which you might have to at a certain point, but you really don't, there's always resources for that. And again, you use your cell phone. But again, though, you don't need those fancy terms and all that stuff or whatever to get started on your business. Okay, so step number 4 is to break it down into simple steps. Okay, so this is kind of like from left to right. Okay, so you have your idea, you have an offer, you have your audience, you have your content, and then you have your sales. Okay, so it's kind of going in order. That's exactly how you need to frame your business, how you need to look at how to essentially make money at this certain thing. And also, it makes sense. So your idea turns into your offer. Okay, so I have this idea to make this awesome, let's just say pen, this awesome pen. Okay, well, now this is what I'm selling. Okay, so, this thing's really cool. My offer is that this thing will be able to put your thoughts to pen and paper. There's my offer. And then the next step is your audience. So who is going to like something like a Sharpie to use this with? Maybe artists, maybe people that like permanent ink, maybe people that just get stuff all over their hands like myself. So you have to figure out who you're talking to, who your audience is for someone that would want a Sharpie pen or a Sharpie marker. I'm sorry, it's a Sharpie marker. Okay, my bad. And then now you need to market it. Okay, you need to make content around this thing. So what does it do? Well, it actually makes really awesome straight lines and curved lines and whatever. And it's very consistent, okay? And it's very cheap. You can buy these and you can buy them in a 12 pack or a 5 pack or whatever the case is. Okay, so I'm gonna now make content around and market around this pen. And then every single one of those steps now leads you down this funnel, okay, to sales. So now you need a place to sell this on your, TikTok shop, on Amazon, on your website, things like that. Now you just need to have a place for them to land and where they can buy this thing. So sales. So it makes it really, really simple when you break it down into steps like that. That's 5 steps that you need to take your idea and turn it into a sale. So don't stress about framing your LLC or anything like that. What I would do is I would wait. And then essentially when you start making sales, then start an LLC, then look into that, all that stuff and whatnot. Again, simple Google search, okay? Plenty of YouTube videos about that. And then right around that same time, I would get in touch with an accountant and start getting your books figured out and what you need to take away for taxes and all of that stuff as well. It's very, very important. And again, don't worry about it. Let them worry about it, not you. You worry about your product, okay? Again, your story is simple. Your passion is so simple, and business is simple. You need to stop getting in your own dang old flippity bling ding kebab head. I don't know where that came from. And get out of your own way. Stop freaking just making this thing way more confusing than it actually is. Remember that business is simple, and get out of your way and just start producing something that people love. Fulfill that need, okay? Bring value, solve a problem. Very, very, very simple things. And I know I just said it, but solve a problem for a very, very specific person and then do it over and over and over and over again. That's all business is. And it's okay to start messy. It's okay to start curious. You just have to start and do it. And as always, we are always here to help. Okay, night and day, this is all Brandon and I think about. We just love helping people, helping creatives who don't want to fit in, right? Get out of their 9-to-5s and build amazing, bold businesses. So that is what we love. We love helping people. We have a bunch of different resources from paid to free, like for instance, free, like content like this, our free checklist I already talked about, and then a bunch of other resources at our .com. So that's dorksocialclub.com. Again, everything is linked down below. And seriously, if you need help along this journey, if you need a roadmap, we sell a legit roadmap course that will guide you through this whole entire process in depth. you got to go check it out and you got to reach out and talk to us and stuff like that, because we are very, very excited about this thing. We do offer one-on-one coaching, things like that. And again, we want to help you out. We want to build this awesome community full of creatives, and we want to help you thrive and just make an awesome life, honestly. Make an awesome life that you are going to be stoked about, that your family is going to be stoked about, and that's something that you're going to wake up every single day being stoked that you can do and actually make money at. That is the legit end goal for us, is we want to help you succeed at that, because we have felt that, and there is nothing better than that. So until next time, dorks, we will talk to you later. And don't forget to subscribe, follow along, Instagram, YouTube, all that stuff. We'll talk to you very soon.